All right, all right. Hello, Tom.
How are you, Al?
I'm doing great. I'm super excited about this interview. I've been wanting to do it actually for a long time.
I know you have. You're trying to pin me down for a while.
I appreciate it. So I'm here with Tom Kess. We're going to get into Tom's story, what he did, which was nothing short of incredible with a startup restaurant called Angelo's Pizza. Everyone that knows me knows that I frequent it. I'm pretty sure I pay your electric bill over there, or one of your bills. I'm pretty sure I'm responsible. But it's
you might.
I mean, I can't get enough of the pizza, and it can't be delivered from where I live, so I drive there and get it every Friday. But before we get into that, let's just a real quick viewing from our sponsor. Hey, Cleveland. This episode is brought to you by the friendly realtors at Stasek Group of eXp Realty. They have a proven, repeatable system. It's backed by market research to sell your home for up to 18% more than traditional real estate agents. So call them. You can call them at 440-925-1018. It's 440-925-1018, or go to stasekgroup.com. That's stasekgroup.com. All right. We're back. So we're going to get into, I want to know about your story.
Sure.
I want to know, I think that the people of Cleveland, if they've been to your restaurant, they've experienced the culture that you've put together. I want to dip into that because as a business owner,
it is a culture, yes.
You know, I've interviewed other business owners here in Cleveland. That's what we do, and culture is something I always like digging into because when you nail it, it's not by accident.
No, it's lightning in a bottle. Really, it's you really have to have a culture.
Absolutely. And then, of course,
and you have to teach your culture to your managers and so on and so forth. And I do have a serious, my culture there, they go by it.
Yeah. Of course, we got to dig into the pizza part too.
Sure. Absolutely.
Cool, man. Cheers.
Absolutely.
Cheers. Thanks for joining us. So, Tom, Angelo's Pizza, if you guys haven't experienced Angelo's Pizza, it's on the corner of Wascana and Madison, which is right by Bunce and Madison in Lakewood, Ohio. Mm-hmm. Highly recommend. If you have not experienced Angelo's Pizza, you've been living under a rock, get over there and check it out. We're here with Tom, the owner. Tell me about the beginnings. I mean, before Angelo's. Let's go back before Angelo's. Where did you grow up?
I'll tell you how I started.
I
grew up in North Olmsted in a very, very middle class. My dad was a construction worker, 6 kids, grandmother, aunt lived with us. I can remember my mother was scratching her legs because they couldn't pay the mortgage, lived paycheck to paycheck. My father drug himself to work every day because if he didn't go to work, he wouldn't get paid. And we lived from pay to pay. And extremely loving mother, wonderful mother, but you could just see the struggle financially. And my mother, God rest her soul, was like a saint. And growing up, we were expected to, my mother wanted us to be priests, of course, we were Catholic, and we were expected to just get a regular job in a factory or work. My dad was a construction worker, work in construction, work at Ford, something of that ilk. There was no way my parents could afford to send any of us to college, and I was not exactly a model student. I was a C student.
Yeah,
saying this, the A students work for the C students. That's kind of what happened.
So the old, we were raised the same. So yes. Good job with good benefits, right? And maybe a pension.
Exactly.
Yep.
If you got a job at Ford or the construction union, you were set for life. That's what you did. Yeah, that's what was expected of you. So I first got a job. I worked at Red Lobster first and did that because that's where I got my training of how not to treat employees. And that's how I got where I'm really good at that, though. I was good at the restaurant business. Even though at that time I didn't like it. I wanted bigger and better things. So I went to work at, I used to run a crane over at a steel mill place. And I go, I hate doing this kind of work. This is not for me. So my dad got me in the construction union. We worked for Forest City Enterprises. It's in Cleveland. And I got in a union with him, and we had to work in West Virginia because this is in the early 80s. There was nothing going on in construction in Cleveland. So I get in the union. I had to pass a major test. I had to go to school for it. I go to work with my dad, and we had to drive to West Virginia Monday morning at 3 a.m. to go to work. And my dad was the boss. He was ran the job. And I get to work with him, and I was an apprentice. And the first day on the job, I go, I should have went to college. I can't stand doing this. I am not mechanically inclined. All my brothers can fix cars, build houses. I don't have an inkling for that. And I said, I should have went to college. I can't stand doing this work. And I was making good money. So I did that until I got laid off. And when I got laid off, one of my buddies was looking to buy a bar or some kind of, mostly a bar. And he goes, hey, you're laid off. Do you think your dad would co-sign or loan us the money to buy like a bar like Richland or McGinney's? You could buy those for back then $100,000, but you had to put a third down. So you had to put $30,000 down. The owner would finance you. So I go to hit my dad up. He goes, not loaning you money from a bar. He goes, you're going to get your job back in the union. He goes, you work in the construction union. You're going to get your job back. You'll be back. Okay. So, I says, I couldn't stand doing that work. So we found Angelo's Pizza at its old location. It was for sale for $23,000. And it was a rundown dump.
Wow.
It was 40 health code violations when I opened the doors. Place was doing, when I opened it, $900 a week. It was the equipment, everything, and it was just, but it was by Lakewood High School.
Right across the street, right?
Right across the street.
Yep.
Had video games. We made money off video games. And I go to Atlantic City, and I took my brother, who was Pizza by Robert at the time, and he hasn't worked for me for some years now, but he is my brother. And I go, my brother was had left Ohio State. He wasn't doing too, and he goes, I go to my buddy Rick. I go, if I take my brother with us and hit my dad up for money for 23 grand, he'll give it to me. So my mom, my brother, and me went to Atlantic City and put the pinch on my dad for $23,000. Reluctantly, he loaned it to me, started Angelo's up. And in the beginning, I lived at home with my mom and dad. The place did $800-900 a week. Struggled along for a year. It was years. The pizza was not that good. I didn't know anything about making pizza, but I kind of knew how to. I figured I knew how to bust my butt, but I didn't know anything about pizza. But I didn't want to do construction. So I said, I got to learn how to make pizza. So I started going to the seminars and the pizza expos in Chicago, Las Vegas. I started going, I got to really learn how to make pizza. So I met my ex-wife, and she kind of encouraged me to, I would drag her along. I says, hey, will you go to Chicago with me? Will you go to Las Vegas with me? She took over the bookkeeping of the place, which she's good at and I was not good at. So I went to American Institute of Baking. I started to get fanatical because my wife, I married her in 1987. And up till that point, I had made no money. I remember getting married in 1987, and Angelo's Pizza was doing $4,000 or $5,000 a week. I literally could not take a day off of work. When I came back from my honeymoon, the place was horrible. So there was a time when I had my light shut off. I was 8 months behind on my rent. The food vendors would quit giving me food unless I paid cash. Coca-Cola would not serve me. It was like, wow, this probably is not going to happen. I'm going to go out of business. Wow. And you were just like, had no clue really what you were doing. The hired help situation. I mean, you only had 3 employees. Yeah. So it was like.
What year was this?
This was in 80. This was still going on in 1985, 86. I was still struggling like that. And I bought it in 81.
Yeah.
So it seemed to be going nowhere. So when my wife told me she was pregnant with our first child, all of a sudden something went off in my head. Holy! I better get it going here. I better get my shit together. I got a kid coming up to feed. Right. Went to American Institute of Baking. Went to countless seminars, and I took all this stuff back with me. And I said, the first thing I got to learn how to do is make good pizza. If you don't have good pizza, at one time I used to say, Danny Boy's, Trios, the pizza's better than mine. This pizza ain't that good. So I had to learn how to make good pizza. And then Joe Kordovich was an old school guy, Joe's Pizza, an old Brooklyn back in the day. He wanted to do an independence getting together, and I didn't do any business. And he was doing, I remember going to his store and watching the phone ring off the hook and stuff. And his pizza was average. But he goes, man, you got to do door hangers. You got to put your name out there. You got to do this, that. So I says, okay. So it kind of went, you can advertise all day, but if you got lousy pizza, you're ruined.
Yeah.
So once I learned how to make the pizza and I got it down, and what it was though was if people came there now, they saw how crazy it is. It was actually so unorganized back in the day that the phone starts ringing off the hook. It's mind-boggling how the place, once I learned how to make the pizza, and
it was like a flip switch.
It was like a flip switch. It went from, like I said, I struggled along. When I got married, my ex-wife thought I was loaded. I made $300 a week, and I worked 90 hours a week, and I had a wad of cash. It was all ones. It was a big facade. It was fake.
Right.
So anyhow, I learned how to make good pizza, and then you have to be able to duplicate that through whether it's 50 a day or on Friday and Saturday night. Now we sell 1,000 pizzas a day. They're all the same.
1,000 pizzas you do on a Friday.
Yes,
each
every
Friday
day.
and Saturday.
Yes, every Friday, Saturday, 1,000 pizzas. Yes, every week.
I mean, that's what you're saying is you're talking about scaling it. I mean, you could learn to make, if you could do it with.
I've told everybody I could give you my recipes for my pizza.
Wow.
And I'll give them to you, and you will mess it up. There's so much more. I can make. There's people probably say I can make a pizza at home better than Angelo's. Maybe you can. I doubt if you can, but try making 1,000 of them all the same.
Right.
And I went from, like I said, 4 employees to almost 90. But back in the old days, when you were ready to give up, all of a sudden you hear people telling you, you wear an Angelo shirt everywhere. That's all I wore was Angelo shirts because that's all I did. You got pretty good pizza. And then I would advertise, and literally I would call my sister up or anybody I could get your butt in here. This place is getting out of control. It started to grow where it was like, wow. You started to see it like, because you thought this would never happen. You wallowed in mediocre sales for years of never the business ever going nowhere, and all of a sudden it started to go.
Yeah.
And it went where it was out of control because I never worked in a pizza business before. I never was a GM anywhere. I didn't know the ilks of it. I went to the school of hard knocks. I learned everything through mistakes, trial and error. And I used to say every Friday and Saturday, I don't believe these people keep coming back here because our service, we butchered this place. We could not handle the business.
Just to tell everyone, if you haven't been to Angelo's and you go there on a Friday and a Saturday, what Tom's describing right now, you're going to actually witness because when I pull in there on a Friday, if I get there too late, I try to get there like around 4:30. I beat the rush. But if you come 5, 6, even 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock is still insanity. It's a parking lot.
Literally a zoo on the corner here. There's cars in and out. We can get into your delivery drivers because you cannot get it at Uber Eats. You will not do that, right?
I might do. Uber Eats is making a special agreement just for me, actually.
Oh, really?
So that's something that might be.
Oh, that might
just if they want me on there, I might do it because some of the younger kids they order everything off Uber. So their Uber Eats is going to do something just especially for me where I can use my own drivers.
Oh, no kidding.
And use theirs too. So,
that's
so
cool.
I don't want to say too much, but that's a possibility. That could be coming down the road. Uber Eats.
You heard it here first.
That is something I might do.
But the amount of delivery guys, let's just talk about that real quick. How many cars? I mean, there's just a ton of delivery guys. You guys go on a Friday night. Like how many guys are out there delivering pies?
Friday night, like 13 guys delivering pizza.
13.
And then we do the dine-in, carry out, and delivery. And it's almost a third of business.
Right.
So, and like I said, the delivery thing now is catching on, but I've always had my own drivers.
Sure.
But like I said, when I started out, you would, I can tell you you would beg for that phone to ring. The phone didn't ring.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, I got something here.
Yeah. Well, now you have how many people? 4 people on the phones. The incoming calls. You literally have to have 4 dedicated people.
4 people, dedicated phones, and I actually went from. I tell these girls, sit down and relax. You're talking to a customer. Don't rush them. We used to be all panicked there. It was crazy. Now, there's at night 4 phone people, and I tell them to, relax, and you know what I mean. But the way I manage in our culture is, hey, you guys can talk a little bit. I don't care, but stay off your phone because it's not a good look. And if a customer walks in, just acknowledge them. So. But you got to constantly remind them that this is what you do. I don't yell at anybody and just remind them that, hey, if a customer walks in, I don't mind if you guys are chatting it up, but just acknowledge that customer and say, hey, Talia will be right with you. So they're acknowledged, because the worst thing is a customer walks in and sees 7 people standing around, and they all go, the employee goes, it's not my job. Customer don't know that.
Right.
So you have to acknowledge a customer when they walk in that door. Whether you're a dishwasher or whoever you are, you tell the customer, hey, Sean will be right with you. You acknowledge a customer at all times and let them know what is going on. So
let's talk about that, because that was one of the things that. So for me, because I'm a business owner of a couple different businesses, right. And we were talking about this earlier before the broadcast started, about being aware and having an awareness of the experiences, having an awareness of how people are trained, how they speak to you, how they address.
Exactly, sure.
I think that the common person, and I was saying this earlier, it's not that I'm putting myself here or anything like that, but if you're a person that doesn't own a business and you don't understand like the operations and employees and this and that, how hard it is. And I'll even say this, how even much harder it is even probably in the restaurant business than it is even in the real estate
it's extremely hard, because you're dealing with people that you start them out, they don't make a lot of money. Even I pay my people way higher than normal so they don't quit on me. That's one of my things I do.
Right.
I start with kids at $10 an hour instead of minimum wage. If they're good, they're making $13 an hour by the time they've been there for 6 months, if they're good.
Right.
So I take care of them.
Keep them.
But when you're dealing with people that don't own the place, and out of all the employees I got, there's a 25% really care and do the right thing. The rest, you're a glorified babysitter. You have to constantly remind them, put your phone away. Hey, we don't eat on the job. Hey, take your headphones off. It's not a good look. You have to ask permission to go to the bathroom. You don't just walk around there. Just little petty things like that.
Sure. That
altogether equals success. And you have to do it without being an a-hole to these people. You never are mean to your employee. You just talk to them with respect.
And this is how you know that you've established this culture the right way. When you walk in, you feel it.
Mm-hmm.
When I walk in there, and I am a regular, and I don't know if you have lots of regulars.
Yes,
I'm not a regular.
Yes.
But when I walk in there, they know me by name. Hey, Al.
Right. They know you by name.
Hey, Al. How's it going? This and that. And of course, I take care of them as well.
I haven't had a help wanted sign in 25 years in front of that store. There's a waiting list to be a server there. There's a waiting list to basically drive there. I am overstaffed. I don't need anybody I have enough employees.
But since I've been going, even the same cooks. I've been seeing the same guys on the cooking line on Fridays.
I told you before we started, this is the slower season. And people that quit on me come back to work for me. And I go, sure, you were good. And then I'm like, there's nowhere to put all these people. Like, when people say there's no good help, that's not true. I have really good help.
They're the best. You got them all, I think.
No, they're really good. And I think it's just where, as an owner, and they will even say, oh my God, the guy owns the place. And he talks to me like he's the same as me. He doesn't act like he's better than me and talk down to me. And he always is nice.
Yeah.
And that's the culture of, I'm the owner. It doesn't make me any better than you. I'm very blessed, but I treat these people because I know what it was like to be 21 years old. The struggle of life is real at 21 with girls and everything else. So I know that struggle, and I'm nice to them. I go, you know what? I get it. You're having a bad day, I'm going to leave you alone. And I give them a little advice and stuff. And nobody wants to come to work and work for some a-hole boss. And that's my culture. Because I tell my managers, I go, these people manage you and you manage them. Because if you treat my employees, my name's on their paycheck, lousy, or you're rude to them, you're going to deal with me. We treat everybody here with respect. I don't care if they mess up, how bad it's human error. the mistakes happen in that business, and we don't yell at people over that.
Let me ask you, I like boiling things down to principles.
Sure.
Like, for instance, one of the things I know about you is that you're a creature of habit. You love going to the gym. You're there.
Yeah, I am a very
You know,
creature of habit. I do the same stuff every day.
same stuff every day. So what would you say?
I don't like to go on vacation, actually.
Really?
No, I don't like to go anywhere.
You don't go anywhere?
I don't like to go anywhere.
I know you don't like to go. So you just don't go on vacation nowhere?
I could go to the pizza convention, which is in late April. Cisco would pay my whole way first class, and I don't want to go. I don't care to go.
You like staying home?
I do like bike week and stuff like that. But Harley, I do like that a little bit.
Yeah.
But my daughter went to college in New York City, so I've been there a couple of times. But just the whole experience of flying and going somewhere is very difficult. There was a time when I lost eyesight in my eye. I had, people don't even know this, I've had 8 eye operations and a back operation. So I look healthy and I look like I got it going on, but I have bad eye issues. And I actually went to Florida, was in Florida more than here for Angelo's Pizza, because I got to get away from this. This is running my life, this business. So
yeah.
I went to Florida, did the real estate flipping in 2004 for a couple of years. And my kids actually went to school there. And as people know, their whole real estate market folded up. And my ex-wife, I have 2 ex-wives because of that business, basically.
Right.
But my ex-wife leaves and goes, I mean, I lost tons of money like everybody else in real estate. And her famous words are, stick to pizza. That's what you know. And I go, you got that right?
Yeah.
So anybody asks me, you want to do something? I go, nah. I stick to pizza. I'm really good at it. That's what I'm going to do. So
if you were to boil it down to one principle behind the culture of the success of the culture, of course, we can talk about the business principles and why Angelo's is a success and how it's profitable and the ridiculous numbers that it does. And we can get to that. Sure, I want to get to that in a minute. But 1,000 pizzas in one night, 2 nights in a row, that's insane. Yeah. What would be the one principle that you kind of stick to? What's your guiding principle when it comes to the culture and how you're, because it shows when you walk into Angelo's, from the person who greets you to you can see the people cooking the pizza in the back, and they're always turn around smiling. You got your people up front that they all act the same, right? And they all act like they love being there, because I believe they truly do. What would you say, if you pointed out one thing, would be the principle that you follow?
It's going to be 2 things.
Okay.
Those customers pay your bills, not me. Those customers had 18 choices, and they came there to see you. And they already had to take 20 minutes to find a parking spot, and they already are upset over the whole, you know what I mean? Right. I don't know. I got to bless these people. Right. I treat them all like, thank you so much for coming here. And it's unbelievable, the business it does. So the book of the customer is always right, and you treat a customer with the utmost respect. And I tell my employees this. I says, take the worst customer, some woman that just is miserable or having a rough day. I says, if you roll your eyes at her or act like you've got a problem, you're asking for it. You don't know what happened to her. She might have went through a divorce. Something bad might have happened to her. So you make her experience so happy and treat her so nice. And you look at somebody with sincerity, that customer who's probably looking for a fight, looking for a problem, you'll get them where, oh my God, they really are nice to me. This was a good experience. So
that's a great memo.
Treating the customers like they pay the bills. When they come in, if I'm there, I hold the door open. I try to make contact. I don't go around. I'm not one of the guys who go to every table. How you doing?
Yeah, right.
But if they take the time and look me in the eye and they say hi to me and stuff, and I will say, thank you for coming here. It's much appreciation. And if the main thing in the culture is you have to train your employees and teach them that in my cult, I am nice to my employees. I treat them with the utmost respect. Because if you're mean to your employees, they're going to be mean to customers. So one of the things I want my employees to be able to come to work and go, I don't mind my job. I don't mind my job. That it's the guys that the culture of a couple of things I do is, if if there's a couple girls in the back talking and eating, I'll go up to them real once. I go, can I get you guys a TV set or some cards or something? I don't want to put you on or nothing. I just talk to them like that.
Right.
Without ever yelling. I talk to them jokingly. I jokingly when I have to think. If I have to correct somebody and it's serious, it's up in the office.
Private.
But the culture, if anything, is I know how to treat employees.
Yeah.
If you hire somebody, when you go to hire somebody, you've hired people. You can look at them and look at their application, and you have an 80% success. You could tell. If you know what, if you're a job flipper, I'm not going to hire you. If you have a second job, if you have a job and you want a second job, or you work in a place and you can give me specifics of what's wrong with it, and you want to work for me, I might give you a chance. I'll give you a chance, and I can tell by your whole demeanor.
Yeah.
If you're carrying yourself like a lazy slob, I'm not going to hire you. But if you hire smart, and when I hire somebody, if they have any type of attitude and they're running their mouth, or I call it cancer, you probably know what that is.
Oh yeah.
They won't make 2 weeks there.
Right.
They
stick out like a sore thumb.
If you start complaining about other people, don't complain. Go to a manager or go to me if it's a real problem. Because you can complain. It's kind of like when you meet a girl. When a girl first meets you, you can't do nothing wrong. They think you're the greatest thing in the world. Then 6 months later, they look at you like you can't do nothing right. You suck. So
right.
It's kind of like that.
Yeah.
So people like that, I don't work for me.
Hire right.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, there's a saying that I learned.
Hire right. Yes.
Well, hire slow, fire fast. You know,
Mm-hmm.
In other words, I think the worst thing that a lot of small business owners do is they keep people on because they're too scared to make a hard decision of letting someone go, thinking that either they won't be able to find a replacement or whatever. Meanwhile, it's killing the culture.
The biggest problem is you're so desperate for help.
Right.
And this happened to me. You're so desperate for help that you have to lower your standards on who works for you. You really do.
Right.
I had people work for me back in the day that sucked, that I wouldn't even give a job to, but you needed bodies. And it was I had to live there. People don't notice. I worked 7 days a week. I took Christmas off. That was it.
Wow.
And I didn't know what to do myself because I was so used to going to work. I opened that place up every day. So I worked from 8:30 till 10:30 or 11 o'clock every single day.
So if you're thinking of opening up a pizza shop, listen to my man.
And no, it's a horrible idea to do. Actually, it's horrible. It's a horrible idea to do. I'm one in a million.
In case anyone thought that they're like, hey, I'm going to listen to this podcast and maybe because they're thinking of opening a pizza shop. If that was you, I
think the heyday of doing that is over. And to buy into a chain is ridiculous too. I wouldn't recommend it because what I went through was simply short of was horrible. I would try to take off Monday night because I had 2 young kids and a wife, and every Monday night I had to go. I got called into work. I would try to take off Father's Day. I went to work. It wasn't worth taking a day off because when you came back, it was just stuff that I just have to be here all the time. And is basically what it was.
Yeah.
But it evolved where now I have some really good managers. There's about 9 managers there. There's usually 2 managers there at all times.
Yep.
And they don't know when I'm coming or going, but they know what I want.
Right.
And they know. First thing I do, I walk in and look at the bathrooms. I walk in and see if there's any cigarette butts, stuff like that. I'm on the case with that, but I'm very nice about it. I look at the whole, the attitude there. You know what I'm saying?
It sounds like you have agreements in place that they
know
an
that
agreement that the bathroom needs to be clean. It's one of your things.
I rarely have to go in there and correct somebody or yell. I mean, it's rare. Like it's National Pizza Day, and I'm here with you.
That's right.
Because I can.
Love it.
I could roll in there after this, and I hope it's okay because the Super Bowl got away from us. That was a rough day. There was some stuff. I didn't show up till like 6 o'clock. And there's stuff in place that we do that even we can't handle the amount of business that place does because we do online ordering too. We do online ordering. We have dine-in. We can walk in, carry out, and delivery. So the amount of we sold in there was 1 hour we sold 450 pizzas in 1 hour. It is impossible to keep that up, because 1,000 in a day is unheard of. There's nobody. There's maybe 3 places in the United States that do that kind of business. So to sell 450 an hour, the place just got onslaughted.
Yeah.
And it got away from us a little bit. And we actually, I have a girl that does marketing and damage control, and she contacted almost every customer that we thought ordered in between that area. And it's one of the things we do, where she goes, I called 264 people. I go, don't send them a letter. Don't do a Facebook blast. I says, call them. She calls them up. She goes, out of 264 people, not one complained. They go, I can't believe you called us and said, you're apologizing. They said, hey, it's Angelo's Pizza. You had to wait an hour. What's the problem?
Right.
But I felt we butchered that place. Wow. That the service, you see all these people standing in line and like.
I think you just answered my question, but do you think that you're pretty much right now, as far as growth is concerned, you're at capacity?
To me, that they come up with, like Uber Eats. They want to do Uber Eats.
Yeah.
And Uber came to me, and their idea, I don't want to give it away, is a win-win for me.
Okay.
It's win-win. I could use my own drivers. I turned down a lot of deliveries that's out of our area, and I could take those orders.
Right.
So to me, the place is beyond my wildest of what I thought it'd ever do, and it is pretty much at capacity with. Oh, pretty much, kind of. I think there's what it is we could be busy on Tuesday or Wednesday, but you don't always get it on Tuesday. Your days that are already slammed just get worse that are bad. Because right now, Monday, Friday, Saturday, even like Sunday, it's at the peak. It's we can't do anymore.
Right.
And I don't know if people have been in or you've been there. I have 4 of the top of the line Middleby Marshall ovens that are humongous, stacked on top of each other. They're not made to be stacked 4 high. 3 is the biggest. And I'm the only one in the United States that has 4 of those piled on top, stacked 4 high. Oh, and they're the most efficient, fabulous oven there is. And I have 4 of them. And you're not even they're only supposed to be stacked 3 high. So, and we're it. And the place is just cranks out. Like there's somebody there making dough or cleaning that place 22 hours a day. It just continues.
Yeah, can't stop.
No, it doesn't stop.
So we talked about your story. Amazing. Sounds a lot similar to mine, by the way.
Right.
Catholic, work.
Yeah, I did.
3 jobs.
I always tell people I'm a stupid Slovenian kid. I got C's in school at the best. I hated school, but you put your heart to something and you really put your effort in, you can do stuff in this country.
I'm Slovak too.
Yeah, so
I'm a stupid Slovenian.
So I was like, you can do it, but it's dedication.
Yeah. So awesome story. We got into the culture, which I love. Let's talk about pizza. 1,000 pizzas a Friday, 1,000 pizzas a Saturday. Unbelievable.
900 on Monday, 800 on Sunday.
You're doing numbers. I think we won't say the name, but you're doing the same numbers that 18 other stores of a chain we won't mention that you'll see on TV all over the place, national advertising and everything like that. You're doing as much or slightly more than 18 stores out of one store.
Yes.
That's just incredible.
Yes.
You mentioned, I have a quick story I want to share with you.
Sure.
So I'm from Parma. So before, I moved to Lakewood when I got married and started getting introduced to Angelo's for the first time. I was a Antonio's fan.
Antonio's good pizza. Very nice. They do a nice job.
Yeah, and the Lo Shavios.
Yeah. I'm always a fan of anybody who can run their own business. They do a nice job.
So but they're different. The pizza tastes different from one Antonio's to the next, and I didn't understand why. So I'm at Ridgewood Golf Course at an outing. I get matched up with a friend of mine and then Lo Shavio. The guy that runs the owner of Parmatown, because that's where when we were in high school games,
they started in Parmatown.
That's the Parmatowns. That's the best, in my opinion. That they
that's the original
out of all
one.
I said, why is it that? Well, first of all, let me back up. I asked him why his tastes better than the one over on, I think there's one on Snow Road or whatever. There's one in Westlake. I got it once and then that was it because it's not what I was getting over there. Why? And he says to me, It's the pans. Well, obviously the ingredients. I go, you would think it's the same exact ingredients and this and that, but he goes, man, you can't duplicate the pans. I want to ask you about that in a second.
Sure.
But the story, which
Partly
is
true.
Okay, the story is great. So my son and I, this is after I golfed, my wife, kids, we all were going there to meet my folks because they still live in Parma.
Right.
To go and dine in to Antonio's. There's Lasciavio out there out front. Doing whatever, I don't know what he was doing, and I just golfed with him like 2 weeks before that. Didn't know him prior to that. And my son was Aiden was probably in first grade or second grade maybe. And I said, Aiden, say hello to Mr. Lasciavio. He owns Antonio's Pizza.
Right.
Tell him how excited you are to go. My son, I swear to God, looks right at him and says, "The best Pizza Hut's the best pizza in the world." He says this. And so Lasciavio looks at him like the god for, he's like, ha ha ha. That's funny.
I'm going to tell you something. A story about that's very true. Here's what the deal is. When you're a kid, you think the best tasting stuff has no taste. So when you're a child, you think McDonald's is the best hamburgers.
Yep.
You think Pizza and Domino's is the best pizza.
Right.
When you get older, you won't eat that garbage.
Right.
You have a taste that's different. So kids like bland food with no taste. So kids like pizza, Domino's, McDonald's, Burger King.
Yeah.
When you get older, you think that is rubbish. You want a thick burger from a place that specializes in burgers. So that's just
but I nearly shit my pants. I mean, I was like, "Are you kidding me? You say this to Mr. Lasciavio?"
My customer base
it was too funny.
Is not driven by children.
Right.
It's not. It's driven by the adults who have good taste. Because, like I said, kids like stuff that has no taste.
Well, so you had said earlier when offline here that you could give, and we're not here to give the obviously your recipe, your secrets away, but you said you could even give it to somebody, and there's no way that they're going to duplicate it because there's just too much to it.
Exactly.
So, is the pan, because you've been asked multiple times, are you going to open up? Even I've asked you, like, are you going to open up another location? I know that you have a canned answer for that because you're asked it so many times, but what is it? You went to the conventions, you perfected it. Your
I still don't think it's perfected, but it's close to it, where it's pretty good, where it's really.
I've never had a bad pizza, not one time.
No, they're made all the same. Whether the first one and the last are all the same.
Yeah.
Let me answer the thing about the pizza pan. I get new pizza pans all the time. You have to.
Okay.
They get dented, they get smashed, but you have to season them. Well, not Antonio seasons them. I don't know. Yeah. You have to put oil on them. You have to scrub them, oil them like 2 or 3 times to get them like that oil on them. You don't choose if they're brand new looking, they're not worth the crap. So you got to season them and all that. And the more blacker they are, the better they are. And
on the inside,
on the outside, the outside's dark.
Okay.
The inside, you're going to have a little bit on the edge of dark, but we cook nothing in those pans but pizza. And what you do is you wipe them out and you oil them, and nothing ever sees that but pizza. And you don't wash the inside of these things because soap film ruins the taste. The pizzas will stick to it.
Right.
But nothing ever touches that but that actual pizza. It never gets anything in there but a pizza of a pan. So you oil them a certain way. The pan has to be seasoned.
Sure.
So I have pans that are 28 years old, and I have pans that are newer. So I have a guy that makes pans. We have, before they get into rotation, we season the crap out of them.
No kidding.
Yeah, and it is a process.
Sure.
Where you run these pans through the oven like 4 times with oil on them, and then you flip them over.
Oh no, kid! Before even a pizza touches.
And you got to scuff them up so the oil sticks to them, and you burn it so that it's burnt on there. And there's a process to do that. So we don't use pans unless they're seasoned up like that.
So you have a recipe even for the pan.
Yes, there's a recipe even for the pan.
Yeah.
And then one of the things that we do, we have 3 sizes of pizza, and we have 2 different styles. We have original and deep dish pan pizza. The deep dish pan pizza is the one that wins all the awards. That is, to me, the best pizza in the world.
I won't get anything but it. That's what I get.
My ex-wife Lisa criticizes. I mean, she's funny about it, but she'll walk in and go, "The door in the pop cooler is dirty. Your pasta was a little overdone." And then she'll go, "You know what, though?" She goes, "I've been to Chicago." She goes, Your pan pizza's better than anything there, and it is better than anything there.
Yeah.
And I can make it in 10 minutes instead of there 45 minutes. So, what it is with that, to make that pizza the right way, I'll give people a little quick rundown. Like I said, there's people that probably can make one good pizza at home. I can make 1,000 that are exactly the same. And what I do with the dough is basically we make it the day before. It's all made the day before.
Sure.
And then it sits in the cooler for a whole day and ferments and does its thing.
Yeah.
Those guys get there at 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning. And then we look, how much do we have left? Everything's counted. Everything's counted. And for lunch, say we have to have 40 extra large original, and they got to be proofed up. A lot of people know what that means. It means by 9:30, we have to have 40 pizzas ready to sell. So what happens there is we'll have a run on a large original. And all of a sudden, all right, we made them this morning because we thought we were going to run out, but they're not proofed up enough to sell to a customer.
Proofed up means it's got to go through the process, right?
You make it overnight. It sits overnight in the cooler.
Yeah.
Overnight. The next day you pull it out. You have to let it warm up for 2 hours before you press it out. Before you press it out. 2 hours before you can press it out. Then after you press it out, it takes 2 more hours. So if you run out of something, say you're totally out, it's a minimum of 4 hours to make something ready to sell again.
Wow.
So it's a big continual paying attention to all that of how much you have and don't have. And then they'll go to me, hey, we only have large original that was made today. We're going to run out of the stuff. I go, then tell people, sell them an extra large, or give them $5 off an extra large, or tell them order the pan, because we will not sell pizza. I call it green. It's not ready to be sold.
Right.
Because if you take, you make the dough, if I cut it into a ball, and we actually do stuff that people don't do. There's a lot of stuff we do that people do not do. My dough gets proofed up 3 times. People don't even fathom what that is. So if you take a dough ball, and I could give anybody here my recipe, it's not that complicated. It's the process, which is the big deal, the secret that you'd have to do a disclaimer to actually see what I do to it. So if you took a dough ball off my dough and you think you're going to press it into a pizza pan, it would taste like crap. It would taste terrible. And that's what a lot of people do. They make their dough and then they just put it in a pizza pan. It doesn't go through the steps and stages to make it into a good pizza. And that's the secret. And the secret is having the hired help to do it. And the secret to having the hired help is a culture of you treat them with respect, you pay them good, you treat them nice, and you got your finger to the pulse if they have a problem. Like I had one of my front house managers didn't show up for a manager meeting on Thursday. She was sick. I see her Friday. She shows up for work. I could tell she's dragging. I go, Ashley, honey. I says, I know you don't feel good. I says, I'll get somebody to work for you. She goes, Tom, I'm short on my bills. I got to work. I go, honey, if you want to leave, I'll get somebody to work for you. She goes, I'll be okay. But I know she was sick, and I pay attention to that.
Yeah.
And then she even texted me through the night, I'm doing okay.
Good.
She goes, I'm doing better.
Yeah.
But you're on a pulse of, I know when these guys are broke up with their girlfriends. I know when they're having a bad day. And I get that. And I'll go, Tom, can I not talk to any customers or answer phones? I go, sure. I had a bad day. You broke up with your girlfriend? I get that. That's a horrible thing to do. Or
right.
You're going through problems with your wife. It's horrible. So the last thing they want to do is get piled on at work is what you do. Like I said, everybody that quits on me, unless I put firemen through school and nurses and stuff like that, but they come back to work for me. I got college educated people that went to college for something. They get their degree. Then they go to work the job that they went to college for. And they go, would you take me back? I'd rather work for you. And I go, sure. And I'm not kidding you, because I treat them really nice. I walked in on a Super Bowl. The place was, I say the word butcher. It was butcher. It was horrible.
We were just getting buried.
It was buried.
How many did you do that day? Do you remember?
We sold 1,400 pizzas.
Oh my God.
We sold 400 something in 1 hour. We did almost $6,000 business in 1 hour and selling pizza and wings. And most pizza shops don't do 6,000 a week. They don't do 6,000 a week. They did it in 1 hour.
Wow.
And you want to tell customers, hey, do you realize how busy we're here and this and that? No, I don't make any excuses to any customer. I chose to handle that business. If I screwed you over, there is no excuse. The only excuse I tell my hired help is, if the lights go out in Lakewood, there's nothing I can do about it. But if you tell a customer you're shorthanded or this, they don't want to hear that. No. The thing, what I do though, if somebody's a dine-in and we burn their pizza or we drop it, you be honest with them. Hey, we dropped your pizza. It's the truth. We're human, but we're going to get you another one that's going to be hot and fresh.
Right.
You just don't make excuses up, and don't lie to customers. If you mess up, you mess up. That place is, with the amount of business it does, there's going to be mess ups. The national average for pizza is 20% in waste and mistakes. Mine's about 4%.
Wow.
So even the Super Bowl, we sold 1,300 pizzas. We butchered about 100 orders. We've let about 100 people down, 100 customers, which for me is insanity.
Yeah.
I felt horrible.
Yeah.
But
like you said,
we try to.
Your manager called them, and not one person unhappy because
they were in shock. We were
yeah.
in shock that we called them, but that's the stuff I do.
That's what you do.
That's what I do.
That's the difference.
And I do, like I said, I send out Christmas cards to customers that have ordered. Like if you ordered a load of pizza a year, I send you a Christmas card. I put my own signature on it. And just stuff like that. I don't argue with a customer. They're always right. I don't care if they're drunk. I will. If somebody's really upset, you don't throw gas on a fire. You throw water on them. They walked in that store. I'm gonna make you happy if it kills me.
Yep.
I'm gonna make you happy.
It's hard to do, but it's the right thing, and it goes along
because I do not advertise. Don't have to. I don't do coupons. I got on my website. There might be some coupons there. But it's all the word of mouth, because even the Super Bowl, if you don't take care of people, you're going to have 100 people out there, each one telling 20 people how you suck.
Yeah.
I choose to have each one of them telling 20 people how, wow, this guy did the extra mile, and this is my experience I had there. Because if I get my daughter works for me, and she's funny, and she's a little busy bee, and she's panics because she knows if I get something goes wrong too much or something. If a customer gets upset, I got a problem. You know what I mean? Why are they upset? You got to dial them down. Right. You got to make them happy, make them feel a good experience no matter what. So she'll be panicking. There goes, oh my God, if I get a review on Yelp that's bad, she's puts herself in a panic. Like, you know what I'm saying? Right. And there's customers that they can be rough. They can be relentless on the hired help and stuff like that. But you don't know what they're going through in their personal life. Life sucks. And they still came there for a good experience. And when they go there, I want them to have a good experience. And when my hired help, I know their personal life. I know they're going through a breakup. I know they're this. So when they come to work, they're going to have a good time there. They're going to have a nice time there.
You've mentioned this twice, so it's worth, I think, bringing up. You don't know what another person's going through, right?
No.
You said that twice.
No,
and
because it's true.
And so for us, what we call, that's a mental model that myself and my partners actually, and they introduced me to the idea of asking a question. What else could this mean? In other words, someone lashes out at you.
Yes.
What the hell? Why have I been waiting an hour? Whatever it was.
Yes.
Instead of taking it personally, or getting pissed off and firing off, go screw yourself or whatever. Yeah. What you kind of said, you didn't say this, but it's the same principle we go by, which is ask a different question. What else could this mean? Meaning, have some compassion. You don't know. They could have been just left the Cleveland Clinic visiting their brother who's dying of brain cancer or something. You just don't know. But this is a mom.
And they're in a bad mood and they're having a bad day. And the last thing you want to do is pile on them. And I don't care. I treat they chose to come in that store, and people will tell you, my God, I have it made. I have the greatest job in the world. I should be the happiest dude in the world. But I'm very depressed a lot of times. I'm moody a lot of times. And sometimes I'm not, I just avoid people if I'm like that. You know what I'm saying? Right. I'm not in a good mood. I had a rough day. I'm not having a good day with my personal life or something other than that. Right. And people will go, what would be your problem? I go, well, believe it or not, I'll tell people, money does not bring total happiness by no means. It just doesn't. If you're kind of a person that is a depressed person or has issues, you might fix your financial problems, but then other stuff just affects you too.
Sure.
So we're all human, and you have your good days and bad days.
Yeah.
So I just like, same with my employees. They're having a bad day. I don't pile on them. Or if they're sick, I will actually tell them, you don't feel good. I can't tell you. Right?
Yeah.
I go, I'm going to get you out of here as soon as I can. And that's what I do.
I live by that same principle now, but if I'm just being transparent and honest, that wasn't me in my 20s.
No, it was not me. No, you learned that.
I learned that as I probably the hard way a lot of times too, is that whole missing thing from people like us. We're type A. We're going out there. We're getting it after it. That's just kind of who we are in our DNA.
Right. And not everybody's like me and you. That's just not the way it is. It's otherwise
Right.
we'd all be entrepreneurs and stuff like that.
When you're younger,
yeah,
the word compassion doesn't really lead. That never existed in my being in my 20s. And it was something I think I learned in my probably mid to late 30s and into 40s. You start to just learning the compassion end of things, which helps.
Oh yeah, it takes a long time. It takes a while to learn.
Your customers,
yes,
employees, even friends, family, everything. You just that compassion.
And it can be very irritating when with employees if they make mistakes or you see them talk a little bit. There's managers that still snap at them once in a while, but I don't go for that. Where you got to keep it calm, with your whole attitude. Because if I was to go in there and start yelling at people, they'd all pee their pants and it would just gridlock their whole working.
Oh yeah, you're motivating by fear, which never.
I don't motivate. So when I walked in on the Super Bowl, the place was butchered, and they go, "Oh my God, he doesn't even spit. He didn't yell at us. He just jumped in." And I don't do much work there. I don't make pizza, but I was like, "Come on, you got it, man. We got this." Show them a little thing. Here's what I would do.
Right.
You gotta repeat the orders very slowly to slow these phones down a little bit, and you have to up the times. We tell people it's 2 hours delivery. It's 2 hours delivery. There's nothing I can do about it.
Right.
With Cheesecake Factory, sometimes 2 hour wait. It is what it is.
Right.
And it's a funny story. I remember when the phone never rang, and I went through the growing pains, but I would never take that phone off the hook. I would not take that's giving up. I would not take that phone off the hook. So Angelo's Pizza on the Super Bowl, it was butchered. It was not good. You know what I mean? It was bad.
Backed up, yeah.
It was backed up. So one of my employees comes up to me and he goes, "Tom, why don't we take the phone off the hook?" I go, "You see Chris Johnson or whatever? They worked for me 30 years ago. That's actually funny. Go ask them what are the chances." And my brother was there. I go ask my brother James what are the chances of me taking this phone off the hook? And James laughed and he goes, "This man will not take the phone off the hook." Because I remember being broke and that phone did not ring. Yeah. And all you do is, hey, when the customer calls, just be honest. It's going to take 2 hours for you to get your pizza delivered.
Yep.
And that's there. And there's nothing I could do about it because we were over capacity for that.
And I don't know too many pizza places that someone is going to be okay with waiting 2 hours. I'd totally be fine with it. If I knew in the expectation.
On a Super Bowl, you get away with it. On a snowstorm, you get away with it.
You will, but there's not too many other pizza shops. Look at all the competition. How many of them can you count that someone would say, "Okay, I'll wait 2 hours for them"? No.
Well, the girl that called back the customer, she's my PR girl, public relations, marketing.
Yeah.
She goes, "I cannot believe how nice these people were." They go, "It's Angelo's Pizza. I waited an hour. I didn't have a problem with it at all." She goes, "I didn't care. I waited an hour. It's what you get." And that's a whole, like you said, the reputation that I built up is huge, and I refuse to give it up. I refuse to let that reputation ever go. I refuse, because I worked way too hard for it.
Yeah.
To get to where it is today, and I got it by just doing stuff in the community. Because I like to give back, because I've been very blessed. And one thing, when you get very successful, that you go, whatever you can buy for yourself, it doesn't make you happy. What makes you happy is getting a smile on somebody's face that you helped them with the PTA meeting. You got shirts for their school team. You did this for their, I donated this to that. And you see them happy. It's like that. That's what makes me happy, to do stuff. Like I do a little fundraiser for you, a little thing for you.
Yeah.
And to see you where you're that elated. is a pleasure to do it for you. And it's always for a good cause, and love to do it.
Yep. So Rock and Rescue, also Rock and Restock is what the original name of it was, is the concert that we do for what we did for the food bank, which was Rock and Restock. We rebranded Rock and Rescue for human trafficking, to fight human trafficking here in Cleveland. And so you guys are you got a huge heart. You bring your whole, like an entire crew down and a pizza oven, generator, everything, and donates every penny that we earn from the slices you sell at our concert to the charities.
Yeah.
And I thank you from the bottom of my heart. Yeah. I mean, it's for me, like you, it's fun. Obviously, what's great is we're doing a good thing for the community and everything, but it's just fun to bring everybody together.
It's part of creating your reputation.
Yeah, right.
Is what you do.
And this is something you don't know, but most of my audience isn't here in Cleveland, nor is it even in Ohio. Most of my audience is a national audience. So I'm a national real estate coach and trainer. This is just my local business, but I have a national business as well.
Sure.
And so a lot of the followers in social media, and just friends that I have, they're all over. I'm talking from Dallas to California to whatever. Every single one of them knows on a Friday, if I'm on the phone, where are you heading? It's 4:00. Oh, you're going to Angelo's?
Yeah.
I swear to God. So you're actually now a national, like anyone that's connected to me knows about Angelo's Pizza.
No,
so when they come to Cleveland,
it's almost known nationally. It really is.
Already is,
It's known nationally.
I'm pumping it out there too. So when people come in, we just did a boot camp for real estate agents. Yeah. It was a 2-day boot camp. Yeah. People are like, "Hey, let's go to Angelo's." Yeah. And so there are people from outside the state and the country when they come here. And Tom Hanks.
Yeah, I hear about him constantly. It was amazing that he was there.
Yeah, you weren't there when he came.
I was there.
Oh, you were there.
I was there.
Did you have a heads up he was coming?
Little quick story on him.
Yeah.
His PR people. He has a whole posse of people to deal with him. They would not tell us who it was for months in advance. They said somebody that's extremely well known is coming. We thought it was Obama. Okay. They wanted to have a pizza thing up in my upstairs. I go, this must be Obama, that they want to do it upstairs. They go, this guy wants a hometown, feel like a normal person for a day. He wants to feel like a normal person in a hometown. He's coming to Cleveland. And we did research and he picked your place, but we don't, because of security reasons, maybe we should have it in the office. So I'm like, Jamie Evans worked for me then, who she is.
Jamie, yeah.
And I'm starting to get the feedback for it. And then they leaked it out and they said the name Tom. So right away we figured out it's Tom Hanks. So what I did that day was I shut down the dining room at 10 o'clock, the whole dining room. And I still had pickup and delivery, but I shut down the dining room at 10 o'clock. And he actually brought in 30, 40 people in his entourage.
Oh, no kidding.
Like he's got an entourage.
What was the story? Why did he pick Angelo's? Because I thought there was a backstory to it that he loved. He had it before. When he
might have had it before. He's got his start in Cleveland when he was first started, when he was like in his early 20s.
Yeah.
And he was coming back here for a friend to go to see something. So he wanted to go and have a hometown experience at a pizza place, and he picked mine. And I said, I had to talk to publicists and security.
Yeah.
And it says, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to shut this place down at 10 o'clock. I'm not having open office. I'm not putting Visqueen around my bar. I says, I will shut this down. You guys got enough security here. So he sat right in the front window, okay? And his whole posse's there. And he goes, this is unbelievable. I'm like a regular person that's in a restaurant. And nobody knew he was there except for the people that worked there. Well, all of a sudden, people start to find out he's there. So they start to pile in the back door and all the doors, right?
Oh, wow.
And it was funny because the only person who was allowed to talk to him, to come up to him, was me, his server, and my daughter. He loved my daughter. Mm-hmm. My daughter was ready to faint when he was there, ready to faint.
Wow.
So he was teasing her even about, come on, sit down, Alexa, come on. So Alexa's going, I'm sitting next to Tom Hanks. I'm like, she's like, oh my God.
Was Jamie his server?
Jamie, I don't know if Jamie was this. Jamie might have been his server.
Because she got the picture with him.
Yeah, well, Jamie was his, I think Jamie was his server. So funny story, my ex-wife comes in there too. There's 200 people and they're in the window and he's waving to them and stuff. And,
they're outside.
Yeah, they're outside and he's waving to them all.
Yeah.
But the only person who's allowed to go was I think Jamie was a server and me and my daughter. And I could sit with him anytime I want him and I would talk to him like, yeah, big deal.
Yeah.
I was, whatever.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? So he would go, when I'm done eating, he goes, I will go in the kitchen and I will talk to all your help. I'll go back there and hobnob with them and joke around with them when I'm done eating. I go, okay, it's fine.
Yeah.
So my ex-wife Lisa comes in and wanted to meet him, and they said, nope, nobody's allowed to talk to him but me and Alexa. But me and Alexa, I was allowed to go bullshit, talk to my time.
Right.
Anytime I wanted.
Those were the rules.
I actually have pictures with him, and I never put them up because I don't like to brag. I just feel like, I don't feel like bragging about that kind of stuff or whatever. But I might. They're trying to talk me into putting a picture of me and him up there.
I think you should. I don't think that's bragging. I think that's just cool.
You know,
it's cool as hell.
But he literally, my daughter goes, holy crap, he's just like you. You're actually more conceited than he is. Yeah. So it's, you know what I mean? So it's fun.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I talked to him like he was a regular, you know.
Right.
Because we did a photo shoot in our kitchen, and I was telling him, hey, stand over here. I was like bossing him around a little bit.
Yeah.
But he went back in the kitchen and he took pictures with the crew. He hung out with them a little bit.
Yeah.
And he's a very nice man. And he actually would order pizza and get him freeze dried and shipped to California. And if I ever go to California, if he's there, I can go visit him anytime I want. But I'm not starstruck by him or any celebrities are a big deal like that.
Yeah.
But he's a very it was pretty cool having him there. But he's a very insulated person, as you can tell. He's got more publicists, handlers, security than you could
So he
imagine.
talk to me about this freeze drying thing, because I've been trying to figure out a way of getting, my business partners from the other business are in
I actually
Dallas.
don't know how to do it, and I don't desire to do it for him. I had a girl that knew how to do it and did it for him.
So what, do you half cook it?
You have cook it, and there's rules to doing all that. So she did it, half cooked it, and shipped it. I personally don't know how to do it. I have no desire to sell my pizza at Heinen's or Giant Eagle or stuff like that.
Right.
It'd be too much. You have a whole different facility for that. So for him, they did it a couple times for that. And he even asked, he says, please don't use my likeness for your public gains. So he would send us pictures of him eating our pizza, but I don't post them because he asked us not to.
Right.
So it's that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I know people that his liaisons in Cleveland that I could go call him if I wanted to and talk to him if I wanted to, but I don't bother the man. I don't. It's you know what I mean. Yeah. But I hear about him constantly, and to pull that off was a mind-boggling ordeal to pull that night off.
I bet
it really was.
I bet made a lot of people happy though.
But it was.
Cool.
I get
cool.
more.
It was cool for Lakewood. It was cool for Angelo.
And I get more people always talk about that.
That's cool.
And my daughter, it was like enlightening to do that. And like I said, I'm not really happy with the Cleveland Indians because Francisco Lindor comes to Angelo's once a week. All right. And if they're talking about getting rid of him, and to me, he's a Cleveland icon, one of the best all-time players in Cleveland history. Yeah. He actually lives pretty close to me. And what a nice guy. And he would literally play catch with the drivers in their driveway and stuff. Oh, that's cool. And he would come in there like a regular guy, and it was, girlfriend or wife, whatever. And like if he was at a homestand, he was in there. Yeah.
He must have come on a different day that I come. I've never.
He usually comes on a Monday or Tuesday. He doesn't come on weekends.
He comes on the other.
Yeah, but he would come there on a homestand. If they're on a 3-game homestand, he would come in there. He'd dine in once in a while. Yeah. But it's not that. But I just think he's amazing. One of the best players ever played for Cleveland. So
I agree.
I really do.
Well,
and it's always cool when
obviously he's got good. He's good at baseball, and he's good at picking a pizza place too. Apparently,
so it's kind of cool. Yeah, it's kind of cool, and some of the celebrities and different people from Cleveland, sports teams. Yeah, there's been rock bands come in there before that have eaten in there before, and it's pretty cool for that. You know what I mean? It's kind of neat. And now let's go to, and I don't want to say something. It was the Holy War game. That's why I'm St. Ignatius Santa. The Holy War. Yeah. I sponsored St. Ignatius for Holy War.
Oh, okay.
And there was a couple of local celebrities in there and former Browns players, and Bernie Kosar was in there. Everybody goes nuts for Bernie Kosar. Yeah. And this was the Holy War, and there's people everywhere. I go, and they told me about it, and they go, I act like I God bless Bernie Kosar, but I didn't have time to go talk to him. I really didn't have time to talk to him. Right. So it was that kind of deal. Yeah. But you know what I mean?
Right. Sure.
Whatever.
Yeah. Man, I appreciate you on National Pizza Day.
Yes.
Coming and doing a live broadcast with us here. I really appreciate it. You're not just an amazing business owner and what you've done for the Lakewood area, but you're a good friend of mine now.
Yes,
I'm
you are.
honored to know you, and I
Thank you.
appreciate the support that you give us with our charity, and I appreciate you feeding my family every Friday too.
Thank
we,
you.
We just Friday we just
Well, you feed my family
we
actually.
feed each other's families.
You
Great.
feed my family.
So if you haven't been, just kind of wrapping up, corner of Wascana and Madison in Lakewood, Ohio. We'll keep this on the low, but maybe if you're out of the Lakewood area soon, you may not have to drive, but it is worth the drive. I don't care if you're east side, west side, whatever.
We get people from all over there.
Yeah.
And it's just it's mind-boggling what it's turned into, but to keep it up to that level is a lot of work.
It's worth the drive.
It's a lot of work.
It's worth finding a parking spot. It's worth it all. And go check it out. Appreciate you, Tom.
Al, my pleasure to have me.
Always,
here.
man. Take
Always.
care.
My pleasure.
All right. We'll sign off for now. This is CLE Live. And Tom
Thank
Kess,
you, everybody.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it.
All right.